Hello friends, hope you're all well and welcome once again. First off, apologies for the long 3 week break I had. It's been a pretty busy time for Rob recently. First off, a few little work commitments going on, and also just struggling to think of decent video ideas for now. But if you are new here, I intend to upload every Wednesday morning for with the occasional break, but hopefully a break not quite as long as the one I've just had. So apologies once again. And as promised before, I'm going to continue doing this rating series for following each weekend of the British Touring Car Championship. And round two, the second meeting of the year was of course at Snetterton, which is very weird to say. Kind of hard to believe we're already at Snetterton and it's the second meeting of the year. Generally, of course, if you follow the championship for a while, it's usually in August or at least in the second half of the season kind of meetings, and we already know who the contenders are. I guess this meeting has at least given us an indication of who those guys might be, but we're going to discuss all of them today. Who's been graded the best based on their performance, who had the best free races, and who's continued their good performance from the first meeting at Thruxton. Of course, Adam Neat is currently at the bottom of the championship, but didn't take part this weekend. Jessica Hawkins instead taking his place. It's a rather sad state of affairs at the moment for him. The fact that he decided to pull out for personal reasons, I think for us as fans, we should feel a little bit bad about that. But that's all I'm going to say about that subject. So we'll move on to the next person at the bottom of the championship is Glyn Geddy. Surprising really lack of pace in race one. Had caught up in an incident in race two, but again an innocent bystander just like last time. And I guess race three a little better. Sorry on that, moving up to 22nd. Decent pace, but innocent bystander. I think if you've been involved in instances or just been really slow or just been a nuisance in general, I say you get a D tier. But Glyn Geddy, I don't think he's been that at all just yesterday, so he goes in C tier once again. Next up, Avneek's replacement, Jessica Hawkins. Really good start to her weekend by qualifying 17th, being promoted to 17th, of course. And it was a real shame that that didn't really go anywhere in the end. I mean, she was looking decent for race one up until the rather annoying incident with Tom Chilton, where she lost a few places and ended up in 23rd. And I think she was pretty much set for her best result of the day up until that point. And I think after that, her confidence just seems to disappear. I don't know. But anyway, getting 21st in race two ended up being her best result. She got another 23rd in race three. That's kind of I really did expect better, but it's a one-off. I think considerably better than her last time here at Snetterton last year. I expected better from her, but she goes in C tier. And next up we have Jack Cutel, again finishing races and just probably the cleanest guy out there. Well, I don't know, we never see him, but always good at finishing races. He had not quite as good results here as he did in Thruxton. His two best results being a pair of 19th places, and he could only manage a 21st in race three. But I think, with the exception of race one, he was very, very good at, getting past people. I presume he had to overtake a few people today because he's usually a pretty low qualifier and improves in the race. So I think he's pretty good at getting good at overtaking people and staying ahead of them and staying like pretty clearly ahead of them. So I think that's kind of showing that the Hyundai is the Hyundai again. I'm sorry, I did it again. That person who corrected me in that other video. I think that car, I think he's better with that car than Mercedes. Maybe it's high. I wouldn't bet on him getting points anytime soon. But consistent finishes, I mean, it'll help somewhat. So not too bad. I don't think it's another D tier week for him. Consistency, I mean, you get a C for consistency, I'd say. Next up, Nick Hamilton, again, has finished every race this year. Actually seems to, usually qualifying towards the back, but this time they're fairly there or thereabouts in terms of staying ahead of people and getting past them in the first place. So decent, but so I'll put him in C again alongside his probably his closest friend, Jack Gusell, because it's normally them two together. Um, Next up, Rick Barfoot Jr. It's a bit of a less second ever weekend for the only rookie on the grid. Had one incident with Glenn Getty in race 2. Pretty much the only noticeable moment for him. We can assume this is a track he's not used to, because I think he's generally on paper was a bit slow even without incidents. So unfortunately he got to be in a race in Froxton, I think, but it's a D on this occasion for Barfoot. Sorry about that. Next up, the returning Senna Proctor, who's now in Dan Cavish's car for the full season. Surprised he didn't quite get points straight away, but of course in race 1 he interestingly got Cavish's ballast, even though purely because he's racing Cavish's car. It makes sense. But surprised he couldn't quite recover to get. When he got rid of that ballast, I'm surprised he couldn't recover to get points. Only managed a 16th in race 2, and race 3 he was involved in an incident. I don't think we quite saw, but almost ending up a lap down. But probably not his own fault. He's one who gets his muscles out quite a lot. So he'll be interested in watching BTC racing, but hopefully there are better performances ahead than this. So he goes in B tier on this occasion, purely because jumping into a car fairly last minute and carrying ballast that technically isn't his, but it's his car's. So it's a weird scenario, but hopefully better from Proctor ahead. Next up, we've gone through all the last non-point scorers, but now scoring her first points in the championship, Jade Edwards. Hooray! First time since first woman since Fiona Leggett to do so, and got there. I'd say on pure pace with soft tires. They helped too, but she managed to stay out of trouble. I think I was concerned Jessica Hawkins was gonna be a bit too far ahead of her on this occasion, but Edwards in the end outraced her fellow female driver, got 1 point, and so I give this weekend a B tier for Edwards. Following on from Edwards is Sam Smells, who also scored his first points last time at Froxton, and I think this weekend is more of a pace we saw him when he was at in the Audi, the MD tuning. Pretty much towards the back, one of the last of the finishers each time. Not what we'd expect from a Speedworks driver, so that's a very big concern for Smelt. But so for that reason, he goes in D tier. A pretty forgettable weekend for him. Next up, Carl Wardley. Very quiet weekend for him. Wasn't really spotted by many. Finished in the top 20 in each race he finished. Was pretty much guaranteed a decent race 3, starting on soft tires, but of course was in and he was an innocent bystander in the incident we're talking about in race 3, I'd say. Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to have added to his single points finish this year, but maybe there's more time to come. I think he's starting to show that he's definitely the first fastest Infinity driver behind Sutton and Moffat. So, but hopefully there are better times ahead for him. But this weekend, Wardley gets a C. Next up, probably one of his rivals in the Jack Sears Trophy, Sam Osborne. Very consistent, but didn't get very many rewards for it. I think he was very, very close to the points on quite a few occasions. I think he should be encouraged by that. But in the end, just finishing in the lower ends of the top 20. Disappointed, but okay. But decent speed, at least able to stay with people who are the usual, who are usually in the teen figures. So decent weekend for Sam Osborne. No points or no rewards on this occasion, but he gets a B tier for this weekend. Ahead of him is Tom Chilton, and again, a bit like last time, a very forgettable weekend, and I think a concerning one too. Pretty close to points in race 1, but then had a really weird spin on his own, and of course delayed Jessica Hawkins went by rejoining. I'm not going to do the Lance Stroll impression, but yeah, kind of an odd one, and then got into an incident in race 2. But race 3 I think was a significant improvement, starting towards the back and moving up to 19th. I'm not sure what tyres he was on, but I don't think he was on soft tyres at all, so he got that on. So he didn't need them for that race. So yeah, race 3, the only highlight for Mr. Chilton on occasion. I think as a big Chilton fan, I think these are worrying times for him. I mean, he isn't a BMW. He's in a Sicily BMW, and yeah, this is, I hope he recovers from this, because this is alarming. This is alarming what the poor start he's had. So hopefully Brands Hatch Indy, he's pretty good there. That'll be the start of slight improvements. But yeah. Mm. So yeah, I think the incidents and the lack of pace compared to the other BMW drivers, I think Chilton has to go in D's here on this occasion. Next up is Aaron Taylor-Smith. Never quiet weekend for him, but definitely the second best team hard driver. Just a few points finishes here and there. Only points finished match yesterday was a 40th in race 3. Fairly clean. Not much. No, didn't get to see too much of him again, so he goes in B. Fairly similar performance for Chris Smiley. Much more obviously keeping it clean this time. No incidents or problems in this race in comparison to Thruxton. Points finishes in every single race. First top 10 of the year. Was reasonably close to getting among the reverse grid pole drivers. So decent day for Chris Smiley. So he goes in B. Next up, Aidan Moffat, showing very similar pace to Thruxton. Just getting in the lower edges of the top 10. Occasionally troubling a few of the people higher up. Had a fairly miserable third race. Not sure quite what happened in that one. I'm sure I'll have to look back on that one. But again, I think this could be another good year for Moffat in the ever improving Infinity. Just hope he needs to get a bit more, and hopefully a few podiums and top 5s will be good, and a good sign that it's not just the one Infinity that's going to do well this year. So Moffat goes in A tier. Dan Lloyd next, and very early pace in race 1. Was definitely challenging for top 6, 7th place, but very decent. But then not sure what happened after that. Dropping outside the top 10. I think he's a clearly the better Vauxhall of the day, surprisingly. But the drop in pace was a bit surprising, so I'm going to put him in. I'm going to put him in A tier for the initial pace he had. I think comfortably the best. Yeah, as I said, way better than the other Vauxhall driver who we'll get to in a minute. So yeah, it's a good sign for him that he was a good choice for the car. But needs more race 1s than he had the other 2. Next up, another Dan Robotson. Not quite. Again, showed decent point scoring finishes. Already way more than he managed in his first season. Just not quite the 7th or the 4th he got in Thruxton, but it was a tricky day for him. I think. I think he was caught up in a little incident in one of the races, but I think delayed him slightly and cost him the chances of a better result. But one top 10 at the end. I think he could easily make progress just as well as his teammate Shedden can. Well, not quite as well, but still decent. So it's again Robotson, another decent weekend. Yes, still another sign that he is probably ideal for the car. So we'll put him in B tier. Only 3 drivers have finished every single race in the points this year, and one of those is Jack Goff. Again, consistently in that lovely Cooper Leon. This car is clearly working very well. We've seen better from him, but consistency, always good points finishes every single race. That's a good sign. That'll be really good in the long term. So this is another encouraging weekend for Goff. So A tier once again. 12th place, much better luck on this occasion. Adam Morgan, top 8 in every single race. I think he's started to adjust to that BMW, but still needs a bit more confidence in it. I think he himself has said there's a bit of work to do there. But decent weekend. He was out of luck in Thruxton, but things improved for this weekend clearly. So he gets A tier on this occasion. Just outside the top 10 is Tom Oliphant. Quite a bit of pace in race 102. Was easily a good contender for the win and at least a podium in race 3, but was pretty much out of luck in race 3. He was caught up in it with Ollie Jackson, ruined his day. So yeah, it was a bit surprising that bit of racing a BMW that Ferguson was raced to win earlier in the day. That was a big surprise, and I think I don't know. I just feel the fact neither Jelley nor Oliphant could pull away from the pack in race 3 was a big concern. So yeah, concerning. But anyway, Oliphant's weekend, he gets a B, sadly. Just slipping into the top 10, Gordon Shedden. We'd have had a much better weekend from him if we got to see him start from pole. But technical infringements, yeah, they happen. You have to just take them on the chin, and he certainly did. Surprising, like in Roxon, not quite able to make up places in the field straight away. So yeah, dropping to only 15th and 11th in race 1 and 2, but race 3, of course, he came alive just like in Roxon. Managed to get his first podium of the year, first one since 2017. With the fastest lap. I think it's an encouraging sign. That he would have probably done quite well in race 1 had he been able to start on pole. And I think yeah, race 1 was his race to lose, I'd say. But yeah, okay, yeah, the triple champion is definitely up there again. I think 10th is probably the lowest he will be from this point onwards in the championship. I think there's nowhere to go but up for Flash. So yeah, pretty exciting pace today. So he gets an A. Just ahead of Shedden is Ollie Jackson, a real star of the day for 2/3 of it. Fantastic starts in race 1 and 2, giving him good places, and ending up with a good result. 5th place in race 1, race 2, another podium on soft tyres. Did a really good start and managed to hold off the challenge of Tom Ingram. Ultimately lost out to Sutton, but still very good. And race 3, kind of. We didn't really get much good luck between Jackson and Oliphant, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. That Jackson was just spun out a slow. Oliphant's ahead of him, and ultimately Jackson had to pull off. So always a perfect weekend for him. I think he would have been another top 5 results had he finished. But so yeah, and good to be in the top 10. Obviously, I predicted he would get a top 10 in the championship this year, and he's still on course for that. It's a very good start to the year for him, but not quite a perfect day. So he gets A for this weekend. Into the top 8 now. Very surprising lack of pace for Jason Plato. I mean, race 1 it was to be expected. I think the ballast definitely made quite a difference today, but then when there was no weight at all, there's no real excuse then. I guess Plato just did. Well, they say it was set up, and I think if it is, fair enough. But yeah, this is concerning. I think no points at all, not even when there's no ballast or when he's on soft tyres. So I think drop it down to A for hopefully there are better times to come. And I know he's done well there in the past, so I'm struggling to find answers for the lack of pace for Plato. But yeah, forgettable weekend, but hopefully the only one he'll have this year. So he gets a very miserable C tier day. Next up, Stephen Jelley, going back to those 2 lower down BMWs. Very good qualifying pace, top 4. Very a performance performance you'd really expect from a WSR BMW. But yeah, starting from reverse group pole in race 3, I think people would have probably expected at least a win or podium. But as I said, him and Oliphant could not pull away from cars that were heavier and ideally slower. So yeah, so that's kind of alarming and obviously interesting. I think he might have annoyed a few people in his defence. I mean, you have to defend as a racer, but I think you've got to be careful you don't annoy people too much. And I think yeah, that cost him his chances of a podium and only ending up 5th at the end. I think for Oliphant and Jelley to not quite have the pace to even get a podium, I think that's a sign that maybe this car is slowly starting to age, and that it might be that Turkington is the only one who can get wins and podiums for them this year. But hopefully that's not the case. I think hopefully Jelley and Oliphant will get better luck, but Stephen Jelley he'll get a B just like his teammate Oliphant. Roy Butcher, much better weekend for him. Three top six finishes, as to be expected, with no ballast, just consistent as always. I can't help but think though that he's getting similar performances, similar results that Ingram got in the Corolla. I'm still not a fan of the car. I'm sorry to say, and I think it might affect his chances of being a real contender this year. He'll get podiums and probably wins here and there, but again, I don't know if he'll be one of the real contenders this year. He's always an underdog, but a real contender he needs to be to prove otherwise about that car. So Butcher gets A on this occasion. Now it's the top five, and Jake Hill. I mean, he started off the day first, finished off down in fifth. I mean, it's always going to be challenging on a track where ballast makes such a difference, but also out of a lot of luck, and I think hopefully he can improve on this, and yeah, just show that. There was a reason he made it as the top 10. He was first in the championship heading to this weekend, but yeah, hopefully for better from him. We'll put him in B tier for how well he managed the ballast in race one, finishing ninth. But I think for the next two, for race two, the soft tires affected him, and he ended up down in 24th. Good progress in the end to finish 12th in race three. Decent points, but still ending up top 5 of the championship. I mean, it could have been worse for him, but also a lot better. Next up, the person who was second behind Hill in the championship heading to this weekend, Josh Cook. Only one real notable result in the end, P4 on soft tires. Very deep, much more what we expected from Cook. But the first two, again, like Plato and Hill, were a real surprise. The way he couldn't quite make up progress with weight and even without weight. So yeah, hopefully Cook will move up again and be a contender like he clearly showed he was going to be at Thruxton. So Cook gets a B tier on this occasion. Now for the first race, the first race winner of the day, Colin Collard, benefited from pole, but he was genuinely quick anyway. I mean, he took the fastest lap, he got the maximum of 23 points in race one. Very good, very decent, very very impressive performance. And when he lost out to the much lighter Sutton with Colin's 75 kilos, he still finished not far behind Sutton in terms of distance. So yeah, it's another good year for Colin. He always if he doesn't string his year together by the first meeting, he will in the second, I'm sure. So yeah, it's another good year. He's set for another good year. Points in every race, a top 10 in every race, and now his first win. A second poles, yeah, Colin loves BMW, and even though perhaps the other drivers in that car aren't perhaps doing so well, Colin it won't affect Colin. I think he's up there again. So Colin is the very first S tier driver of the day. Second place now is Tom Ingram, getting high on die and XLR8, the first ever win. And a second place in the first race, like in Thruxton. And clearly, a good sign is that the ballast doesn't seem to affect his car or him that much. So top 4 in every race. So I think I'm still. I said before how the Hyundai he will improve in that car eventually, but probably not this early. So yeah, this is a very good start for him. I should be very encouraged by this. So I think this but at this stage, you could very easily say that this is probably his best chance of being a contender for the championship since 2018. I mean, the 2 years in the Corolla, I'm not going to talk about them too much, but I still think those were two mediocre years for him. But now, in a newer car, a fresh looking team that he can build the team around himself. That's it could be a match made in heaven. So yeah, I'm really excited by this pace by the pace Ingram has. So he gets S tier just like Turkington, and probably not a surprise again. Of course, it's Ash Sutton, 11th on the grid with ballast. Could have managed a top 10, but got muscled out a little bit. Ultimately, but then no ballast in race 2. He was on a mission in the end. Fastest lap, took the win from 11th on the grid. And even with full ballast in race 3, second place behind Ingram. I mean, Sutton seems unstoppable, even with when he's the lightest car, even when he's the heaviest car. So another S tier day for him, and and the three winners, definitely definitely the three favourites for the championship. But 8 meetings to go, it could all change. But these three should be very encouraged by the way their season has started, and it's very exciting stuff for the fans who I'm sure were itching to return, and now they're back. Times are good for touring car fans and touring car drivers, I would say. So there are my rankings and ratings for this weekend. Fairly straightforward day at Snetterton. I think the racing tends to be either straightforward or completely nail biting. I think race three easily the best of the day with more overtakes than in any other race. Good drivers making progress. Whereas lots of people getting notable moments in the race. So I've it's this is looks so yeah. No, Thruxton easily the better. Thruxton I still say was the better meeting overall in terms of action. But Snetterton, you did good. You did good this year. And next up, Brands Hatch Indy, the shortest lap on the calendar. Always good for action, and so we look forward to that. So thanks for watching, everyone. Like this video if you've enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more British Touring Car Championship videos. But I do so many. I do a whole range of motorsports apart from this one. Most notably Formula One, as you'll see. So yeah, I'd really appreciate that. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.